Rich.
Yeah.
Big news, did you hear?
Yeah, Hodges is getting a start.
Amazing. You know what that means, right?
Yeah, he's going to start against the Browns.
No, we got to practice our duck calls for the game on Sunday, right?
A what?
You got one?
What are you doing?
Come on, man. It's duck season. Get with it.
Bob, we got work to do.
That's an actual commercial. Oh, geez, there's more of them.
What is wrong with you? It's duck season, dude.
So yeah, they're doing that now. Those were actual commercials that they're showing on KDKA right now. And with that said, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I mean, it's Saturday. It's the day, 2 days after Thanksgiving, and we're finally here. The rematch of the Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. And I mean, there's so much you could say about the last time around. I know I didn't talk about it last week because I was waiting for here, but yeah, like I said before, like I said during that week's game, that game looked like it was going to be the Browns coming out party all around. Like I said, I've always thought Thursday Night Football was kind of rigged, and I'm not saying that the Browns weren't necessarily rigging that game to win. I just thought the Steelers didn't really do anything about it because I think Mason Rudolph. I'll get to that in a minute, but I think Randy Figner's play calling, that conservative play calling, is coming back on him. I still think that he thought he was still playing the Browns of last year and not the Browns of this year, and of course you have the melee at the end, which, you know, when a couple years ago, I thought the Cleveland Browns were they were due for a revival at some point, and I thought, let that happen. I thought Baker Mayfield was actually doing well the second half of the season once we didn't play him anymore. But since then, I don't know if I've ever hated a team now more than I hated the Cleveland Browns right now. Mostly because of what happened after the brawl, like the fact that they still think that we started it. No, even if we did start it, there's still no reason why you should still bang somebody on the head with their own helmet. And that part right there still irks me, because they still think, oh, Mason Rudolph started it. It doesn't matter who started. Like, even if he did start it, you really think Mason Rudolph is going to do the same thing to Myles Garrett? Which, I mean, we don't know, because we don't know what happened, but I don't think he's that stupid to do something like that. Myles Garrett is stupid for doing that. Like, there was no reason to do that at that point. The game was over. There was under 10 seconds left. And then to go on after that to be like, oh no, the Steelers are the ones who are the monsters. We're the victims here. Like, pulling off that Simpsons-esque bad guy, turn him into a good guy kind of like there's an episode of The Simpsons where this clearly evil guy uses like a baby deer in the courtroom to be like, what's that, Mr. Prickle Pants, or whatever the name of the deer was, and like trying to convince everybody that he's the good guy. That's what Myles Garrett did during that week when they were trying to figure out what his suspension was, how long his suspension was going to be, which is an indefinite suspension right now. Mason Rudolph got a big $50,000 fine. A bunch of people got fines. Marquise Pouncey, who rightfully so, he kind of deserve a suspension because he did kick a guy in the head. But I mean, it was originally 3 games. They cut it down to 2, which I think they did that so he misses the Browns game regardless. Larry Ogunjobi of the Browns got suspended for a game. But then after that, they're still being like these really obnoxious people. Like, after this, it's just an hour before the suspension came out, Myles Garrett pretty much said, oh, by the way, did I forget to mention that Mason Rudolph used a racial slur, and that's why that he should be responsible for all this? It's just like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? You can't... I hate it when people use the race card like that as a cheap effect to make the NFL sympathize with you more because, oh, he used the race card, even though the NFL has the sound effect tape from what happened on the field that night, and they found no evidence of that whatsoever. Like, I know Mason Rudolph could have honestly sued him for an assault, but of course he didn't, which I think, I mean, it would have given him a bad image, but I think he would have been justified in doing so. But after that, he should sue him for defamation of character, because, like, I mean, I don't know how this is going to age in the years to come if we find out that Mason Rudolph actually does have kind of this racist vibe to it, but I don't think he does. But, like, why would Mason Rudolph do that? Like, why would he really do something like that? And, like, I mean, that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this. I know I've been very divisive on these type of things. I usually try to keep that type of thing on there. I'm not. I'll just say this right now. I'm not against any races whatsoever. I'm not against black people. Any type of those. Most people. Like, most people. What am I saying? All people. Like, I'm not a racist person. I'll just say that right now. And it's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject, and I try to keep that away from these videos here. But like I said, I'm not a racist person. I'm not a homophobic person. And I'm not any of those type of things. I'm fine with everybody. Just don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk to me. Don't get in my face about anything like that. And we're cool. We're cool people. But the Browns, I don't think I've hated the team more than I've done with the Browns right now. I still think they're one of the most overhyped teams right now. Like, everyone overhyped them to be like, oh, this is going to be the next Super Bowl contending football team. This is going to be the next they're going to win now. Like, they've got the pieces they need. And even after they disappointed, they were 2-5 coming into November, and then all of a sudden they pop up 3 wins, arguably over a pretty good Buffalo team. If you saw what happened on Thanksgiving, the Steelers, and then the Dolphins. I mean, I can't remember who said it best, but if you I saw somebody on TV say that if you lose to the Dolphins, you don't deserve to go to the playoffs, which kind of true. But I mean, right now the Cincinnati Bengals look like they're going to get the top draft pick, even though the Dolphins had the plan to tank for Tua, but of course Tua got injured in Alabama. And now it's like bomb for Burrow, and like that's a whole nother story altogether. But yeah, like, I really hate the Browns right now. I do. That's the whole thing that should come down to this. I really hate the Browns right now, which should be a good thing because this rivalry deserves to come back, but not in the way that it is right now. Like, every time I see Baker Mayfield on TV right now in commercials and all that, wow, I feel like, wow, you pay more attention to your ads on TV than you do on the football field. It's like, oh, because now you have both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to save your ass. That means you're good right now. Now, it's just like, I don't know, like it's a tough situation right now because, granted, they are looking a lot better than they did back in October, but at the same time, they're still really not that good not that good team that everyone thought they were going to be. Like, maybe give it a couple of years, they might be so, but right now, they just need a good taste of reality right now. And I think coming to Heinz Field tomorrow is going to do that for them. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have to win this game. Like, there's no way they're making the playoffs if they can't win this game. There's no way Mike Tomlin, I don't think, comes back if they don't win this game. Maybe I just feel like it's going to be that situation like last year in Green Bay when the Arizona Cardinals came to town. That was a game that Green Bay should have won. They lost the game, and then mere hours later, Mike McCarthy got fired. I just get the sense that might happen again here. Call me crazy, but if it doesn't happen then, it probably happens if they miss the playoffs. But the Steelers, they're right now in the 6th seed right now. They've got to win this game to keep that there. Like, they win this game, they knock the Clevelands out. I can't talk right now, but they win this game. They essentially knock the Cleveland Browns out of the playoffs, and it's essentially the Steelers, Titans, Colts. There's another team I think that's in the hunt for the playoffs. I'm not sure though. I don't think Jacksonville is right now because Jacksonville's 4-7, but there's one other team in there. I'm forgetting their names, but you get the point. Yeah, like I said, the Steelers, I feel like they've got to win this game for several reasons. One, because their playoff chances are pretty much riding on this game. Two, they've got to get Cleveland back for what they did to them is at that game on Thursday night, and 3, mostly because there's just Heinz Field is a much different playing field than playing in Paul Brown Stadium, or is that no? That's Cincinnati. I'm thinking of. I'm getting my stadiums all mixed up. In Cleveland Brown Stadium, whatever it is. I think it's not First Energy Field. I don't think, is it? Maybe it is. But yeah. Going back to Mason Rudolph, I'm not ready to say that Mason Rudolph is a bad quarterback. I just think he's in a bad He's in a really odd situation right now. There's videos online of like how, oh, Mason Rudolph's not having a good year right now. Well, yeah, because during against the Ravens, he almost got killed against Earl Thomas, knocked out with that scary looking injury, and then what happened with the Browns? Yeah, he's not in a good situation right now, but I'm not ready to say that he's a bust or anything. I mean, he's not like Ken Graham or some of these other really bad quarterbacks that the Steelers have had coming in during that time, especially during the Bill Cowher era, but yeah, I'm not ready to say that Mason Rudolph is a bust yet. I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback, but looking at what Devlin Hodges has done against the Chargers and then the comeback win against the Bengals, I think he can turn this team around. He turned the team around in the second half of that game last week, getting the touchdown to James Washington, but I don't know. It's a tough situation right now. Like, I kind of wanted Mason Rudolph to play largely because I think he deserves to get his revenge on the Cleveland Browns for what they did to him. But Devlin Hodges does give you the best chance to win right now, considering what he did in the last 2 games he played in. So, like I said, either way, I think the Steelers have to win this game. They've got to win this game to not only solidify that 6th wild card spot right now, but just to get revenge on the Cleveland Browns and give them a taste of their own medicine. I think that just needs to happen. So hopefully by this time tomorrow afternoon, it'll be what I think it is. I think the Steelers will win. I hope they win. I hope that Cleveland finally gets that taste of that cold hard punch in the face that they deserve. And we will see what happens.
And why don't we beat the bus? It's still a pretty tight race, although I slipped a bit last week. Here in Week 13, somehow Albie in the lead by 1 over you, Jerome, and by 2 over myself. But let's start with that Browns-Steelers game. Who are you taking?
You know, this is a tough one. Obviously, everything has changed. The line has changed. The quarterback has changed. But my belief in the Pittsburgh Steelers has not changed. I'm going with the Steelers to win this football game. I believe they will find a way to get it done at home.
All right, let's look at the AFC North picks. I am going with Cleveland, and apparently I'm the only one. I think I'm actually just trying to play catch-up with you guys. I think it's going to be a great game, though, and the FanDuel
doesn't even know why he made the
as
pick.
of this show taping is Browns by 1.5. The Jets visiting the Bengals. Jerome, you and I are taking the Bengals to get their first win because Andy Dalton is going back as the starting quarterback. I'll be going with the Jets, the FanDuel Sportsbook line, Jets by 3. Ravens hosting the 49ers. This is a big-time, massive showdown, and we're all going with Baltimore. Expect that to be another good football game. The FanDuel Sportsbook line, as of the taping, is Ravens by 5.5. I find that quite large with those two teams. And be sure to check the sportsbook.com.fanduel.com for the up-to-the-minute betting line.
By Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
For the first time in 30 years, the Browns are favored to come to Pittsburgh and win. So Ed lost last week as he picked the Bengals, so he gave us an opportunity here. But you can see 2 of us are going Browns, 2 are going Steelers. That's me and you, Charlie. What's your logic for the Steelers?
This is going to be old-school Steelers football. A lot of running the football, a lot of good defense out there. This is going to be a low-scoring game. Steelers prevail 13-12.
I like low scoring as well, 17-13. That's why I took them, and I think mistakes in defense will have a lot to do with this. Rich, your logic in picking Cleveland.
Yeah, I think the Duck is a great story, but I think that story ends here today. I think the Browns win this one. I think it'll be close, 20-17. I have the Browns winning this one.
Trying to firm up their playoff positioning. Titans and Colts head-to-head in a separation game in the AFC South. What a way to wrap up the football feast of the last 4 days. Here's Jags both come in with 4-7 records. Philadelphia trying to stay in the mix of the NFC East at Miami. It's hot down there in South Florida. Green Bay and the Giants, that one will have wild weather in East Rutherford, New Jersey today. And then Browns and Steelers, ding, ding, ring the bell for round 2 as the Steelers have changed quarterbacks going into this game. More on that in just a moment. See West. First of our 8 kickoffs is Pittsburgh booting it away to Baker Mayfield and the Browns. Ball goes into the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 25-yard line as Cleveland tries to make some noise. Interference. Yeah, there's a flag. James Washington came down with it anyways. That's a 30-yard touchdown. And how about this one? Devlin Hodges, who threw it, and James Washington, who caught it. They went hunting together on Tuesday on their off day in the Pittsburgh area, outside of the Pittsburgh area, of course. But Devlin personal fouls. For that one, I'm going to have to check to see. I believe that one went against Cleveland. And so the Steelers are now into the red zone here. 1st and 10 from
Come on, do something.
He gets the call. Snell whips through the middle.
Gang tackle at the ball at the end of the second quarter. Instead, the Steelers get it back. They score the game-tying touchdown. Now they've got momentum and a chance to grab the lead here early stages, 3rd quarter.
Nothing crazy.
Hand it off, Snell. Trying to bounce to the outside. And Schobert would have none of it. So Burris got him down low, and then Schobert wrapped him up. 3rd and 7 for the Steelers. From the gun. Fade route from Duck. Incomplete. Off fair.
Get 2 hands on that ball.
Number 21.
Still some life. Still some life on this drive.
First down.
Kane's got some good size.
Get into the end zone.
Little back and forth there.
Should not be this close.
Well. I think too on what you look at. Stutter step move. Benny Snell. Did he get there? Yes.
Touchdown.
Steelers.
Benny Snell's first.
Snell pound left hand. Just watch him put that stiff arm on Hooker. He's not able to get him on the ground. He almost rips his glove off.
Touchdown. Getting in behind Castro on the pull there. And then Castro doing his
definitely
best to
in.
pull him into the end zone as well. Watch the Castro 66. Gets the hit on Taki, and Snell refuses to go down.
Take. What kind of a name is that?
Come back to the Green Bay drive in a moment. So after the penalty, Baker had a 2nd and 20, and then here comes the rush, and they get home, and the ball comes loose, and Packers. The Steelers are on top.
How sweet it is.
Sack, fumble, and Steelers. That'll take them back. We were bringing in Pittsburgh because they were at the 28-yard line, but that's a 5-yard penalty against the home team at Heinz Field. 2 points, or get 2 more points on the board for them, and will force a free kick back. Let's go back to Heinz.
3rd and 7 for the Steelers. Hodges, short drop, steps up, he'll run. Doug Hodges slides.
There you go, Duck.
First down. Spoken to Ben this week. He said, yeah, but really mostly about hunting. First down in for Snell. He's twirled down.
Zach Ertz came into this game injured. They'd rather not use Ertz if they can get away with getting offense without him. It's an 8-point game down there in South Florida.
Cousin of the great Max Snell, Super Bowl champion with the Jets. Off the boot. Fournette. First down.
Jacksonville trails at home.
I play better on the bigger stages. And that's exactly, he shook off a rough start in this game as the entire offense did.
First and goal, give. Snell knifes in.
They gotta get another playoff, or will we go into the 4th quarter?
The end zone and falling behind by 2 touchdowns.
We might be going to the fourth quarter here.
That'll do it for
There's
the
where we are
third
right
quarter.
there. One more quarter to go.
Pittsburgh Steelers with a
Pittsburgh's got to keep this
17-10
up.
lead. Their best football. They had won 3 in a row and had scored
Fourth quarter now.
34 and 34 points straight in those 3 games. But Cincinnati looking for their first win of the year of 22-6. Red zone in Pittsburgh.
Hodges fakes it, triple loop to the outside. He just made a mistake. He's fortunate that it didn't cost him.
Yeah, he was trying to throw it left-handed.
Of the week in the NFL, the number 1 seed Niners 17, the number 2 seed Baltimore Ravens with the potential MVP in Lamar Jackson 17.
20 to 10.
Third field goal is good here. That's a 2-possession. Look out, Baker Mayfield somehow avoids the sack from behind, and then a couple of other Pittsburgh Steelers come to clean up on 3rd and 7. Cameron Sutton is one player who gets credit. Either way, Geist touchdown, and now
Coming down to the wire here. Pittsburgh's got the ball. They got to keep it away from Cleveland.
There, 2.5 here. Pittsburgh can solve this game away with 1 or 2 more first downs.
The fans are doing their best with just a quack chant as I walk around these sidelines right now.
Music to my ears.
They really need to get like the motivational speech from D2, the Mighty Ducks in there. Oh my God!
You're quacking us up, man. 2:32 left.
Come on.
This drive
Don't let
started
Cleveland
at
get the ball
the
back.
1-yard line for Duck Hodges and the Steelers, and now a first down at the 43. And it to Snell. Works his way for 3 yards.
It should be the last one before the 2-minute warning.
And so we're going to get a clock stoppage there at 2:27. Cleveland uses their last timeout. This was a key first down pickup for Duck Hodges.
Vance McDonald.
Going to Vance McDonald, 8-yard catch, first down with a confident fist pump there.
He's going to lay out for this overthrown pass and keeps the ball off the ground. 24 career interceptions, and this one he will remember forever.
Yes! Season over for the Cleveland Browns.
And how wisely, after running the ball back, he takes a seat.
Joe Hayden, my man.
He said yesterday when we chatted with him, there have been a bunch of interceptions that I should have had this year. They were right on my hands that I make in my sleep.
Suck on that, Baker Mayfield.
Maybe the most
Suck on that.
important year for Hayden and the Steelers with 6 to play.
I know I shouldn't be this happy about this, but seriously, screw Cleveland for this is what we call a little bit of payback.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Got a chapter now in the rivalry that belongs to him.
It's such a special relationship to having played in this rivalry on both sides. But a personal
I'm shaking right now. I'm so excited for this.
A knee for Duck.
One knee. I'll get the other.
Final minute here in Pittsburgh. The Steelers will improve to 7-5.
What a run.
16 straight wins
What a
over
run this has been.
Lions Field. And the winning streak ends for Cleveland. They had won 3 in a row to climb back into the AFC playoff picture. But the loss will send
One
the
more kneel
Browns
down.
5-7 on the season.
and a 2-hour bus ride back to Cleveland.
7-5. Bye-bye, Baker Mayfield. Bye-bye, Freddie Kitchens.
Hold on.
Good job, Duck Hodges. Go ahead, change the graphic.
13 over the Browns.
Let's go, change it. That was a win they needed.
Hodges.
And no melee afterward, so
Career NFL start. It's another steal.
everybody wins. Except for the Browns. I'm way too excited for this.
Pittsburgh improves to 7-5. Tennessee in the hunt at 7-5. The Buffalo Bills, a tremendous season at 9-3. Baltimore.
That's going to be an interesting game next week. Baltimore and Buffalo.
10-2. New England, the best record at 10-1.
But there's the one we're watching here. 20-13. Steelers 7-5. Playoff chances still very much alive for them. Yeah, I know I'm going a little overboard on this, but I'm happy right now, man. I'm happy right now. That went almost about as well as I expected it to go. I knew that Pittsburgh was not going to let Cleveland come in there and take them down, even though they did have the 10-0 lead to start the game. I believe it was 10-0, I think. Yeah, it was 10-0, but... yeah, man. I'm happy right now. I'm happy right now because you not only keep Pittsburgh's playoff chances alive with this win, but you just knocked Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns, the overhyped Cleveland Browns. We can finally say it now because they are an overhyped team that has a terrible coach, a great roster, but a terrible coach. And you just knocked them out of the playoffs with a third-string quarterback of all people. Yeah, man. I mean, what else can I say? But, you know, Devlin Hodges had a good game. Duck Hodges. Defense came up big. Got scary a couple times. I'm still worried about the way the Steelers, they end games so close like this, because it would have been so easy for Cleveland to come back to tie it. Knowing them, they probably go for it to rub it in our faces more, but luckily that didn't happen. So we are still on the hunt. The Steelers are still very much in the hunt, 7-5. Next week they have the Arizona Cardinals, which could be... that's an interesting game to say the least, because the Cardinals, they're not great right now, but they've shown brief flashes of what they could be. So, plus the Steelers, once again, they don't usually play well on the West Coast, but, you know, stranger things have happened. I think this win does a lot for them, and we should see what happens next week. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy every single moment of this because the Browns are officially knocked out of the playoffs, and the Browns can now be officially called one of the most overhyped teams in NFL history. At least this one is, until they actually get a decent head coach, a good head coach next year. But, yeah, pretty good day so far. Pretty good day.